There was a number of factors that drew me to the project. It was a real combination of things. I really responded to the script. I thought it was a really interesting, harrowing, complex story with a truly great and really rare character at the centre of it. I fell in love with Ralph Sarchie. I thought it was a wonderful acting opportunity that you rarely get in a character like that. And I was really intrigued. I was intrigued by the world. I was intrigued by the genre. I'd never done a film in this genre before. And I was really excited about the opportunity to work with Scott Derrickson, whose work I'd loved. And I think his understanding and knowledge of this world and this genre is more than I could ever know. So that was a great safety net and a great collaborator. There were certain materials that were available in the lead up to shooting the film. One of them was a book that Scott really warned me about. In actual fact, he said, actually, hold off on reading this particular book. I'd rather you read Ralph's book and let's get talking about some other materials. Then, as I got closer to production, Scott told me more stories about this particular book and how seminal it was within this world. And I held off a little bit, and then Edgar came on board, and he just said to me straight out, he said, Eric, don't touch this book. Do not go anywhere near it. Don't read it. It consists of 5 chapters, 2 of which Edgar read and couldn't continue and had no desire to continue. I'm a sucker for a thriller, always have been, and that's what I want to see going to the movies. So this is a really exciting moment where we're crossing genres to a degree. It's not an out-and-out horror movie, and it's not an out-and-out thriller. It's a bit of both, and so that's a lot of fun and scary and dramatic and physical, and so it's good. To have a real person on set as opposed to a real person that you've had access to it's incredibly uncomfortable initially, I think, for both parties. But I really felt that it wasn't fair at all for me to say to Ralph, you can't be here. And providing that he was respectful of my process and my work environment, that was always going to be okay. And he was there for an early read-through with the actors. And I can only begin to imagine how uncomfortable it must have been for him to hear the script out loud. And in fact, when I'm doing early read-throughs, I don't even do accents. I mean, we're still just discovering bits and pieces, and so I can't imagine how much it must have thrown him. To his credit, he learnt straight away what his rightful place would be, how to help and not hinder, and never once got in the way, was extremely respectful of our working environment, and was always just respectfully to the side. And so most of the time, actually, the conversations I had with Ralph had very little to do with the film. We would just sit around and just chat. I really hope it's thought-provoking. I really do. I think I've got no doubts that there'll be moments that they'll be truly scared. I think it will be a ride. There's no doubt that there are elements, there are moments in this film that are you're on a ride, and it's not overblown with action, which I also really appreciate. Whilst there's more than enough of that, it's really something truly different, which is always exciting. And I feel as though it's very thought-provoking, and it gets back to what I was saying before. I love the idea that we're all carrying around something, and we're all, to some extent, paying a price for as Sarchie puts it, the inner cancer, And so I think the film deals with that in a really interesting way, and I think a lot of the dialogue, a lot of the scenes, a lot of Sarchie's journey is whilst brutal and fascinating and entertaining and scary, very thought-provoking as well. And it was something that really attracted
attracted me to this.